Welcome to Master Your Retirement with MRS. Melissa Matson has been helping families in Las Vegas plan for a successful retirement. The team at MRS Wealth Advisors will help you learn about strategies for creating income in retirement, managing your wealth, and minimizing taxes. Welcome to Master Your Retirement with MRS.
It's tempting to hope for the best case scenario in retirement, but the reality is there are several major risks that could send your retirement into a tailspin. Today, we'll help you identify some of those risks and come up with a strategy that could help you protect your family and your future. Welcome to Master Your Retirement with MRS Wealth Advisors. I'm Amy Sharp, and today joining me, Melissa Matson, founder of MRS Wealth Advisors. And Melissa, it is great to be back with you. Always good to have a conversation. And today, it's kind of a tough topic, actually, but it's important that we all have a reality check. I imagine you can agree when it comes to retirement conversation. When we get into retirement, things might not go as planned, and that's just the reality, isn't it?
Oh, it is. We can't prevent bad things from happening, but we always can plan for the unexpected. In fact, we say in our office often, we want to plan for the worst and hope for the best. And so today I really wanted to focus on some strategies that we talk about often in our office. We need to have these plans so that we have this framework so that we're actually having the tough discussions, because, you know, catastrophic illness, having a medical emergency in retirement and it's unexpected, or losing the love of your life, the loss of a spouse, what does that look like? And then another thing that we address is living a long and healthy life, because let's face it, we're living longer than ever.
Longevity, I think, we hear that term a lot. It doesn't seem like a risk. And every time I hear that come up, I think, gosh, everyone wants to live longer and have a wonderful life into retirement, but it's a risk. I want you to expand on that a little bit and tell us kind of how it can be.
Yeah, this is what I mean by that. Living a long life is fantastic, and it's something we always hope for. But, it's quality over quantity, of course. But living a long life comes with a very steep price tag. In fact, that means more years of paying bills, paying taxes. We have to deal with inflation. And, it's just everything becomes more expensive. Think of something as simple as having a family dinner. I have 5 children. I have grandchildren. When we have a big family gathering and have everybody over for a big dinner, the price tag is steep. It's a lot different than it used to be. So having a plan for that, everyone wants to go to grandma's house or everyone wants to go to mom's house, right?
Yes.
So, we need to have a plan to be able to afford the rising cost of everything.
Lay that out for us a little bit, what that plan looks like. Because if I'm someone who says, oh, my family hasn't really lived much past 70, I'm going to just plan until that age. We don't obviously know. And so how do we, and your team at MRS Wealth Advisors, how do we lay that out so that we have a plan that lasts as long as we do?
That's a great question. I tell you what, Amy, knowing the different stages of retirement is just crucial for retirees, because when we label these and talk about these in our office as when you first retire, you have your go-go years, then you have your slow-go years, and then my parents are now 91 and 94. They are in the no-go years, right? If they get to go to the dentist and they're living in a nursing home or go to the doctor, that's really all they feel like they have the energy to do. So it's sad to see, but having a plan for that. But with your go-go years, where everyone's looking forward to their first retiring years, you have something you haven't had before, and that is time. Time to plan the next vacation, go on the next cruise, go play pickleball, have dinner with your friends, go on, just all the wonderful things you've been hoping for. And you want to make sure you're not overspending. So you have a plan on a withdrawal strategy, and a withdrawal strategy to make sure you're not overspending, because your money needs to last for that 25 to 30 plus years. And you need to have money for that last stage so that you're keeping up with the cost of living. So just making sure that we have a drawdown strategy with different income income streams so that you're preserving your savings and your capital will last.
I always think about lifestyle being so important to everyone, and you were just naming off some of those things, like going on a cruise, just spending time with your family. Maybe it's a big trip. That's something you don't want to change either when you get into retirement. And again, those years added on to it can add up.
Absolutely. Yes, yeah. And everyone just, they don't want to overspend, and they have that fear. I have people wondered this, how much, they don't ask how much are we able to spend? It's like, how much can we spend? We want to spend as much as possible, but we don't want to overspend. So we have fantastic software that helps us work together with the clients to strategize the opportunity to see if they have enough or if they need to work a few more years to get there. It's
always good to have kind of an overview and an understanding before you go into it. And I think that's all about that plan and having someone guiding us alongside. Okay, we've got some other risks we're going to get into in our next segment, so stick around, much more to come here. Melissa next will help us tackle some of the biggest risks to our retirement, and later in Master Plan Minute, strategies to help you put up guardrails to keep your retirement from toppling over the edge. Master Your Retirement with MRS Wealth Advisors continues after this.
Planning for retirement can be complicated. Helping create income that lasts, making sure your health care is covered, investing while managing risk, and don't forget about taxes. If you're overwhelmed, you're not alone. The good news is we have what you need to give you confidence to start planning for your ideal retirement, all in one convenient resource. You'll get answers to some of your biggest retirement questions in this easy-to-understand, practical resource. And best of all, there's no cost to you. Take the first step toward a confident retirement and get yours today.
How does your future look in retirement? When you don't have a strategy, the future might look a little fuzzy. But with someone asking the right questions and helping you learn where you truly stand, it can become easier to work towards your goals. You need a plan to help generate income that will last as long as you need it. And the first step to creating an income plan is an analysis of where you are now. Let us help you bring your retirement into focus with your free income analysis today.
On the surface, your retirement plan might look solid. With your 401k or IRA, Social Security, investments, and insurance coverage, you appear to have it all covered. But what could you be missing? Below the surface, is your retirement exposed to too much risk? It's time for a deeper dive into your portfolio. We can help you uncover the risk that lies beneath the surface and learn about strategies to help preserve your savings. Get your free risk analysis today.
When it comes to planning for the future, time may not always be on your side. Think about your taxes. Tax rates are historically low right now, but they'll likely be higher in the future. With the right planning and strategy, you might be able to cut your tax bill in the years to come. But don't wait until it's too late to take advantage of today's lower tax rates. Let us be your partner in planning for tomorrow so you can enjoy your retirement today.
I'm back with Melissa Matson, and today Melissa is helping us tackle some of the major risks to our retirement. And some of these risks are difficult to discuss, but it's really important that we think these things through. Catastrophic illness and medical emergency. Those are kind of the two next ones on the list that we're going to go through here. And those can come so unexpected. None of us think something's going to happen like that. And then when it does, we look at the medical bills. You and I were even talking about this before we started, about how you can't imagine what you would pay if you didn't have a plan in place.
Oh, you're so right, Amy. In fact, having a plan for healthcare is so important, really, at any age. Each year, more than 500,000 Americans file for bankruptcy due to healthcare emergency, catastrophic illness, or an accident that can just absolutely knock them off their feet, financially or physically. I have a client that was pruning they just entered into retirement, and he was up on his ladder and he was trimming his palm tree and cutting, and his wife was down below holding the ladder, and he fainted at the top of the ladder, and the chainsaw came down and hit his wife in the shoulder. He fell in the neighbor's yard. He ended up in the hospital. My client called me on a Saturday. I knew something had to desperately be wrong. Fast forward 5 years, they're both fine and enjoying their retirement, but it was 1 year of rehabilitation and over $1.4 million in healthcare costs of that accident. So gentlemen need to stay off the ladders, right? Things can go wrong, but you need to have a plan for unexpected healthcare costs for sure. Knowing and understanding Medicare and your options in Medicare. And also when it comes to long-term care, you know, it's funny. We all have homeowners insurance and we only have a 1% chance our house is going to burn to the ground. We all have car insurance. We only have a 3% chance that we're going to need to use it. But there's a 70% chance, 70, that if you reach age 65, you are going to need some form of long-term care assistance in your elderly years.
And so many of us do not have that. And so that's good to hear those numbers put out there because it really does make an impact, I believe. The next one on the list is losing a spouse. And I can't imagine, you know, what that looks like when you're having to kind of put that all together and then plan, and all of a sudden there's not two of you, there's one of you.
Yeah, one of my favorite movies is The Notebook, because having elderly parents, right? We think of how lovely it would be if they were able to hold hands and fall asleep together in death. But you know, if that were to happen, you'd make the paper, and it doesn't happen very often. So you need to have a plan and have those tough conversations with your clients so that they can look forward, so that they don't have the anxiety is, do they know where the passwords are? Do they know what to do with the budget? Do they realize that they're going to lose one Social Security? They're going to be down, you know, what does that look like from, because you're still going to have the same amount of bills. You're still going to have the same utilities. You're going to have the same, the cost of living. It happens so unexpectedly oftentimes, and it's really hard because this generation, unlike my parents' generation, are more active, but a lot of ladies like to just let the man handle it. And then if something happens, and statistically speaking, us ladies do live longer, and so you are left making sure that you know how to manage the money that you've accumulated, and you know all the different risks moving ahead. So just making sure that you have, from a tax perspective, you have everything in order, because now you're no longer filing as a married couple. You're filing single, and if the bulk of your money is in those qualified IRAs, that could become a very, very expensive change in how your monthly budget looks.
And I think you bring up a good point about being a part of the conversation so often, and I think that's generational, I do believe. I think it's changing.
I agree.
Where if, you know, our parents, I know my mom wasn't much into the conversation of going and talking with the advisor about money. She thought that was just my dad would take care of that. Well, you know, one day she might not have him there and she will know nothing. And I think that's important to point out.
Oh, it is. In fact, I have a rather newer client. She's only been with me a handful of years, but when her husband first passed away, she said, I never paid attention to this. I went to the meetings, but all I could think about was where he was taking me to lunch after. And so I was more focused on our lunch date than I was really on what they were all saying in the background. So we're very, very passionate about helping the families understand the dynamics of where there's wealth and what you need to take care of, or having those conversations, what would you like me to do, so that there's no guesswork in the end. I could tell you a story of a client who actually she moved her money over after her husband passed away, but she wouldn't let me sell anything because she remembered having coffee and conversation about him buying that particular stock and this and that. And here he'd passed away 3 years ago, and she still didn't want anything moved. So it was really
very personal.
Very personal, yeah.
Oh, great insights. And I know there are so many more risks we didn't even begin to touch on, but it is an important topic. So thank you very much, and we've got much more to come. Straight ahead, Melissa helps you put up guardrails to keep your retirement from toppling over the edge. That's next in Master Plan Minute. And still to come, Melissa answers your most pressing retirement questions. You're watching Master Your Retirement with MRS Wealth Advisors.
When it comes to planning for the future, time may not always be on your side. Think about your taxes. Tax rates are historically low right now, but they'll likely be higher in the future. With the right planning and strategy, you might be able to cut your tax bill in the years to come. But don't wait until it's too late to take advantage of today's lower tax rates. Let us be your partner in planning for tomorrow so you can enjoy your retirement today.
On the surface, your retirement plan might look solid. With your 401k or IRA, Social Security, investments, and insurance coverage, you appear to have it all covered. But what could you be missing? Below the surface, is your retirement exposed to too much risk? It's time for a deeper dive into your portfolio. We can help you uncover the risk that lies beneath the surface and learn about strategies to help preserve your savings. Get your free risk analysis today.
How does your future look in retirement? When you don't have a strategy, the future might look a little fuzzy. But with someone asking the right questions and helping you learn where you truly stand, it can become easier to work towards your goals. You need a plan to help generate income that will last as long as you need it. And the first step to creating an income plan is an analysis of where you are now. Let us help you bring your retirement into focus with your free income analysis today.
Planning for retirement can be complicated. Helping create income that lasts, making sure your health care is covered, investing while managing risk, and don't forget about taxes. If you're overwhelmed, you're not alone. The good news is we have what you need to give you confidence to start planning for your ideal retirement, all in one convenient resource. You'll get answers to some of your biggest retirement questions in this easy-to-understand, practical resource. And best of all, there's no cost to you. Take the first step toward a confident retirement and get yours today.
In today's Master Plan Minute, Melissa helps you put up guardrails to help keep your retirement from toppling over the edge. Melissa?
Oh, what do we mean by guardrails? Well, think about this analogy. When you're driving on a long, windy road, and actually my husband's from New Zealand. When we go visiting in New Zealand, there really are these one-lane bridges. And you have to actually watch for the other side to see if there's someone else coming. And you have to take turns because it is a one-lane bridge. But just think, if you're at the top of a high mountain and you're getting ready to go over a bridge, as you come down, you know you're going to cross over this single-lane bridge, and there's no guardrails, and you're crossing a really deep river. Would that make you a little bit nervous? Of course it would. So in retirement, you think about volatility, or you think about having tax efficiency in your retirement. They're like having guardrails for the unknown. You don't want to fall off into the river, but you also don't want to not have a plan for taxes being your biggest bill in retirement, or not having a plan for healthcare risk, not having a long-term care plan in the event something tragic went wrong. You know, my grandmother had a stroke at 74 years young, and she ended up paralyzed on the left side of her body and had to stay in a nursing home. This was, back in 1998. She was very unhappy having to be cared for when she was so independent. Did she have a plan for that? No, she didn't. It was absolutely had to be paid for out of pocket. And she was definitely coherent about what the cost was, and it didn't make her happy. That's not having a plan. We don't want that for our clients. At MRS Wealth Advisors, we want to make sure that we're talking about efficient tax planning and having a plan for a long-term care event, because you don't want to be caught off guard not having those guardrails that will protect the assets that you've accumulated. Because if you create a plan, you've talked about the uncertainties, the unknowns, the what ifs, then you're going to be able to enjoy all the things that you have actually dreamed of enjoying. And you can go play pickleball. You can go on your hiking trips. You can go plan to be with your friends in the community or travel, whatever your wish is. And you know that you have planned for those things that aren't as fun and pleasant to talk about. Healthcare emergencies or bigger tax bills. That is this week's Master Plan Minute. Back to you, Amy.
Have a question about retirement? Don't go anywhere. Melissa has the answers coming up in our Q&A segment. Master Your Retirement with MRS Wealth Advisors continues right after this.
How does your future look in retirement? When you don't have a strategy, the future might look a little fuzzy, but with someone asking the right questions and helping you learn where you truly stand, it can become easier to work toward your goals. You need a plan to help generate income that will last as long as you need it. And the first step to creating an income plan is an analysis of where you are now. Let us help you bring your retirement into focus with your free income analysis today.
Planning for retirement can be complicated. Helping create income that lasts, making sure your health care is covered, investing while managing risk, and don't forget about taxes. If you're overwhelmed, you're not alone. The good news is we have what you need to give you confidence to start planning for your ideal retirement, all in one convenient resource. You'll get answers to some of your biggest retirement questions in this easy-to-understand, practical resource. And best of all, there's no cost to you. Take the first step toward a confident retirement and get yours today.
On the surface, your retirement plan might look solid. With your 401k or IRA, Social Security, investments, and insurance coverage, you appear to have it all covered. But what could you be missing? Below the surface, is your retirement exposed to too much risk? It's time for a deeper dive into your portfolio. We can help you uncover the risk that lies beneath the surface and learn about strategies to help preserve your savings. Get your free risk analysis today.
Welcome back, everyone. You probably have questions about retirement. Well, the good news is Melissa is ready to answer them. Are you ready for this?
You bet, Amy.
Okay, this is always a favorite segment of mine. I feel like I learn something every single time because people bring such great questions. This first one is from Rita in Las Vegas. We've been retired for about 5 years and we're expecting our first grandchild soon. What are some tips for starting a college savings fund? I thought they were going to start asking you about your grandchildren.
Right.
You can talk all about that for hours, right?
Oh, of course. Well, congratulations to Rita on her first grandchild. That's wonderful. And it's great that you're already wanting to give to your grandchild. But I tell you what, college savings funds have limits and they have boundaries. And, you know, everybody's grandchild's going to go to college because that's just what we want them to do. But you know, sometimes the grandchild grows up to be an influencer, or sometimes they just go straight into doing, you know, becoming a famous actor or something. So you want to make sure that you're not overfunding, this is my opinion, of course, these college 529 funds, because there's other ways to save for your grandkids as well in UGMA accounts. So we try to look at the pros and cons. Everyone wants to give to their grandchildren, so I commend you for that. But look at all the options so that you have more flexibility, and they will too later in life.
It is such a great gift, though, that will help them down the road.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Here is one from Peter in Henderson. I'm in my late 50s, and I have more than $500,000 saved for retirement. I'm expecting an inheritance of at least $500,000. So I'd love to retire early, and I feel like I'm in good shape, but how can I find out for sure?
Well, Peter, that's a great question. And being in your early 50s, you're probably going to have a longer retirement than you did in your working years. And although $500,000 seems like a lot of money, and also inheriting money in the future, if you come on in, we can sit down with you and we can sit down together, meet, review, and strategize your particular situation, put some inflation, put some rates of return on what you do have going on. But I would say one of the biggest red flags for retiring early would be healthcare costs. Because again, that magic number of age 65, that's when Medicare kicks in. If you're funding your own healthcare with that savings that you have, it's going to cost you a pretty mint. So making sure that you have enough income coming in, Social Security doesn't start till later. I don't know that you have enough, Peter. So we invite you in, we'll take a look and see what it looks like.
Okay, so it's good to have an overview and to kind of sit down and get a second opinion as well. Okay, here is a question from Samuel in Green Valley. Do you work with very many small business owners? I'm thinking of retiring in the next few years, and I'm trying to make sure I have a good exit plan in place. when the time is right. And if you are a small business owner, you've probably heard the term exit plan and how important it is and what that looks like.
Absolutely. And being a small business owner myself, I understand that, because if you don't have an exit strategy, you're going to continue to work for the rest of your life. So sitting down and just having this overview and having a strategy of how much will I need in retirement, making sure that the lifestyle that you're enjoying in your working years as a small business owner, making sure that you have a plan for your taxes, making sure you have a plan for that. It all starts with that retirement income. If you can actually have enough in your nest egg to make sure that you've created a retirement income that can sustain your lifestyle, I say absolutely retire early. But make sure you've sat down and thought it out and have a plan for inflation and income.
It's hard for small business owners to kind of walk away from all of that after they've built this business, they've done a lot of the work themselves, and then it's like preparing to hand it over. I imagine that's a lot of emotional feelings go into that.
So emotional, and also the fact that small businesses, typically you are your brand. And so being able to sell your small business, it's really difficult because you grew it from infancy, and to sell it to someone else, it becomes a really intimate moment. So.
Okay, let's try one more here before we have to take a break. I get a lot of mail. This is from Carrie in Southern Highlands. She says, I get a lot of mail and phone calls about Medicare. How do I figure out what kind of supplemental insurance I might need to go with it?
Medicare is one of the most complicated types of insurance. First of all, it changes every year. There's always new plans coming in. The most important thing to know about Medicare is everybody's an individual. You need to really take an inventory of your personal health before you can make an educated decision. Make sure that if you want to be in a network, if you want to have a Medicare Advantage plan, or if you need a supplemental plan, just dependent on your health history, and making the right choices can make all the difference in the world. Some people really want this network of doctors, so you need to make sure you are on the right Medicare plan that allow you to go to those doctors. Just being on an Advantage plan, you're pretty much stuck with going in the network that you're assigned to. So those are big decisions. You can make decisions every single year, but you need to make sure you're making the right decisions for you.
These were great questions and great insight. Thank you so much, Melissa.
You're welcome.
And if you want to learn ways to generate lifetime income, potentially reduce your tax bill, and maintain your lifestyle in retirement, reach out now. Melissa and the team are ready to help you start building a retirement plan designed to help you flourish in retirement. For Melissa and the team at MRS Wealth Advisors, I'm Amy Sharp, and we look forward to seeing you next time on Master Your Retirement with MRS Wealth Advisors.